Good morning everybody, welcome back to the Life's Good. Runner beans, green beans, string beans, climbing beans, so many names for these chaps. I call them runner beans. Perhaps someone could enlighten me as to the exact terminology for these beans. The packet says climbing bean, whatever. I need to get these planted out. They're desperate to go out now. I would imagine these little cells are full of roots. There's a little bit of sun and wind damage I noticed on some of these leaves. That shouldn't be a problem. There's a lot of new growth coming on in the middle of these and they're desperate to start climbing. In order to accommodate these, if you watched last year, you'll notice, or you would have seen, that I grew my runner beans against the side of this shed. And yesterday I took time out to clean this area, remove all the bits and pieces that are in front, parts of the old shed and bits of timber and goodness knows what else leaning against here. Well, I've cleaned it all down. I've given it a quick coat of wood preservative and we're ready to go. So what I'm going to do is to plant these in troughs, and those troughs are going to be sitting on the floor against the wall of this shed, and hopefully these beans will climb up the canes that I provide to hold those in place as they grow and mature. So stick around, watch what I'm doing. Just wanted to show you this, guys. Compost that I'm using in here. Remember back in the season, early in the season, I bought some relatively cheap compost from a local farmers market type outlet. Well, they ran out very quickly. I'm not surprised at the price they were selling it at. I have used alternative composts, and the other day I needed a bit more, certainly for this project, and I went to where was it now? Plants Plus, which is not far from where we live, and I purchased this Westland. It's an all-purpose plant compost, but it's a peat free and totally organic medium. It's quite fibrous. If I can show you this, guys, if I can. If you look at this, it's a very fibrous material. It's got little tiny bits of stone chipping and other bits and pieces in there. It acts like a coir, absorbs moisture and then allows a sort of a slow release, but is also supposedly beneficial for the roots as well. It attaches to the roots, or at least the roots find it easy to work their way through this particular medium. Well, I've never tried it before, given it a go. I was just looking at the information on the bag. Biofiber. I'll just read this to you guys. Biofiber is a totally natural, nutrient-rich fiber. It locks onto the root as it grows and ensures fast, effective transfer of nutrients and moisture into the plant. We'll give it a go. I've put some in these trays and I'm now ready to plant my beans. So keep watching and we'll put the beans in the troughs. No job in the garden is complete without the obligatory cup of tea. I do enjoy a cuppa while I'm out here. It's not just a chore or a job to do. This is a very interesting hobby. Sowing and growing, producing your own. And it's relaxing if you tackle it right. It doesn't have to be hard work. And I do enjoy a relaxing cup of tea while I'm out here going about my business on the plot. Right. Cheers. These plants, as I said, have been in this tray since 30th of March when I sowed these guys. I sowed a batch in toilet rolls, the cardboard inner tube from toilet rolls, and they are the ones I've put in against the bike shed, and they seem to be doing well. We'll see how these compare to those. Now, they were planted a lot earlier in the season. I was a bit ambitious, planted them a bit too early maybe. These ones I planted, as I said, 30th of March in this multi-cell. There's 24 cells in there. I sowed 24 beans, and it looks like all bar one has grown. This one's missing. Don't know why. Maybe something stole the bean or just failed to germinate. So I've got my compost in the troughs, and instead of using a large trowel, I use an old dessert spoon. I've had this kicking around for years, guys, but it's a handy little tool in the garden, particularly for something like this. Now we've got 24 beans, 23 beans, one's missing, 4 containers. I do find I can grow these close together. Doesn't usually have a problem, 3 or 4 inches apart. So with these I get half a dozen in each of these containers, or maybe less. If I find one that's not particularly clever, I might discard it. But just make a hole in your compost. I have firmed this down a little bit. I put my hands on the top and just pressed it down. It will solidify when it gets wet, I'm sure. But just press these out from below, lift the bean, and as you can see, guys, it's got a massive roots on the bottom of there. That is desperate to go in here. Just pop that in, fairly central in the container. You don't want to put it up against the plastic edge. So there's one just along from it. I can plant the next. They're coming out really well because they have, as you can see, a mass of roots, which is excellent. And they won't take long to put those roots out into this compost, which will give them an enormous boost, and you should see a lot more growth over the next few days. So third one about halfway. Now this one doesn't look so clever. It's got some damage on here. Just going to pinch that leaf off. It's growing healthily at the top there. We'll pop that in and see where we go with that. One, two, three. That's a nice one. 4. I think I'm only going to get 5 in here, guys. It looks like 6 will be a bit crowded. Look at the roots on that. Brilliant. Yes, I think 6 would be too crowded. But I did get away with 4 or 5 in each of these last year. And we had rather a good crop of beans. They obviously like it against this shed. This is the north side, so this does not get direct sunlight on here, but beans can tolerate shade. Although when the sun comes up in the morning, it shines in over the gateway there. You do get sunlight in here. And at this time of year, when it's going down on the west horizon, you get sunlight shining through here. So they do get a little bit of daylight or direct sun. But for the most part, they're shaded. There you go, guys. Well, I'm going to carry on with that, and I'll catch up with you in a couple of minutes. Well, that's another job complete, guys. I've managed to put out all of those beans, all 23, in those 4 troughs. And you'll note that I've put some canes here as well. So each bean has got its own cane to climb up. As you look along there, each one's got a cane. Those canes are 6 foot long. They just tuck in underneath the eaves of the shed. And what I've done is I've put a couple of hooks. Well, there's a hook there with some wire on. And that wire traverses the length of the shed. You can see there's another hook and more. So the hooks I've put in the side of the shed, and I've stood the canes against there, and each cane I've tied onto the wire. So the wire goes around the outside of the cane, holds it against the shed, and it's tied in place with a bit of string. I did this last year. It was quite successful. Those beans should climb these canes, and if they get too tall up by the eaves there, I can always top them off. I can always take the tops off. But they managed all right last year, and we had a good crop of beans growing in this location. So we'll see what happens this year. I'll keep you updated and let you see the progress of the runner climbing green beans in our garden. Before we go, guys, I just wanted to say a couple of thank yous to some of my subscribers for the comments that were made following my gherkins in the greenhouse video. Hard Rock Master, he agreed with me that I planted those gherkins probably a bit close together. The plants can get quite large. I'll leave them where they are. I'll see how they come on, and if necessary I can always remove one just to give the others a bit more room. Another thing I wanted to mention was one of my subscribers, Welsh Chili. His YouTube channel is doing quite well, and he's rapidly approaching 1,000 subscribers. Now I'll see if I can put a link in the description box below my video, and pop along, have a look at his channel if you're interested in chilies and chili sauces, hot sauces, and all sorts of things related to chilies. His is a very interesting channel. As I said, nearly 1,000 subscribers, and he made a very nice constructive comment on my gherkins and my videos, and I appreciate that. I do appreciate comments, criticisms, good or bad. It all helps me to make my videos suitable for what you guys want. Right guys, I'm gonna crack on. As always, I've got plenty to do. We were supposed to be doing a bit of decorating today, but I was more desperate to get the runner beans out than the decorating. I've got a few more things to do out here. I'm gonna have some lunch, and then maybe Cheryl and I will be looking at the DIY and the decorating indoors. Well look, whatever you're doing, you stay safe, be happy, look after each other. Come back and see us soon. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit that little red button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time in the Life's Good. Bye bye now.